Welcome to A Shot of Ag. So many times in agriculture, you feel that farming is just like a birthright. You're a multi-generation, everything was handed to you. Well, that's not always the case. Today we're going to talk with Annette and Alex Marshall of Leland. How you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
Yeah. For the people in Peoria, where is Leland?
Boy, 2 hours northeast of here.
Yeah. That's quite a drive you all had.
Yeah.
The
Well,
crops look good?
actually, you guys down here are a little bit further behind. We're tasseled and fully pollinated, and we saw some fields that on the way haven't even shot tassels yet.
Yeah.
You can
Well, it's a nice way of saying we're a little slower.
Just this year.
Are you both from Leland originally?
No. I am from Morris, Illinois.
Okay.
So
And I'm from Somonauk, which is neighbors to Leland.
Gotcha. Where'd you two meet?
college,
What college?
Joliet Junior College.
Okay. Was it love at first sight?
Yes, it was for me.
Really?
Yeah, but we don't want to talk about that.
The hell we don't. Yeah. Okay. Did you meet in class or in a bar?
We actually did in class. It was ag mechanics, ironically.
Okay.
And, being a young gentleman, I took the seat in the back near the door.
Yeah.
And there sat Annette in front of me, and I handed everybody a piece of gum and asked them to wad it up and throw it at her so I could get her attention. And then,
Oh.
the rest is history. She,
Most people call that assault, but
well, I didn't partake. I had an entourage, so.
okay. Apparently it worked though.
Oh,
It did,
apparently, yeah.
I mean, was it like you chew it up and then throw it in her hair?
No, just
Oh.
the wrapper. Just the wrapper.
Yeah,
They
it's
threw
just the
wrapper.
rappers
Yeah.
that all came at me all at once.
Annette, tell me what was going through your mind as you were getting bombarded by gum wrappers.
Honestly, I grew up with 3 brothers, so I figured this was just normal.
Okay. And that was in ag mechanics, huh?
Yes.
Okay. You think we'd be more like, involving a ram shaft or something like that, but you went with gum.
Gum.
How long you been married?
30 years in August.
30. Well, congratulations. What's the secret to a long marriage?
Forgiveness. Lots of grace, mercy.
Does that go both ways?
No, it doesn't. You had to ask that question, huh?
2
No.
daughters?
2 daughters, yes.
Yeah, it
Okay.
does. So,
So did either of you grow up on a farm?
Yes, I did.
What kind?
Grain, and we had some livestock,
Okay.
corn beans, cows, pigs.
Gotcha. How about you, Alex?
we grew up on a farm on the edge of town, and our family did raise pigs, but we weren't active in the row crop side. That was custom farmed mostly.
So your family owned ground, but somebody else was farming it.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
Very common in
Yep.
farming and agriculture. Okay, so you both met in college. I mean, what was the plan before you got bombarded? I mean, what were you both going to do in life?
Well, I was unsure, but I was very much interested in agriculture. So my dad and I made a deal that college is important to have. So I said, okay, I'll go get a degree. And I went to Joliet Junior College and then also Illinois State University. Graduated with a degree in ag production down there. And I wanted to farm, but the opportunity didn't arrive right away. So I worked for Hormel in Rochelle, cutting up hogs, believe it or not.
I've heard that is a remarkably tough job.
Yeah.
Yeah. You wouldn't think, just sitting there cutting, but apparently that's a grind.
It was, and ironically, then I moved to, they call it trim blending, the department, and that's where they made hot dogs.
Oh.
So that was even more interesting.
Let me ask you a question. Do you still eat hot dogs?
I do.
Okay.
It's not what they say it is. It's actually very much regulated, and they do a very good job putting different spices together and coming up with a final product. But it's a neat process to watch, and I enjoyed it. The only thing I didn't like about it is I work second shift, and I'd sooner get up, get the work done, and call it a day. I was getting home at 10 o'clock, midnight.
That's tough. Were you guys married?
No,
Not at the
Okay.
time.
not yet.
What
Very
makes
engaged.
dating tough?
Yeah.
Yeah, I slept a lot of nights on her couch.
Yeah,
because
you
we would
did.
date, and
Yeah.
I just couldn't make it home. So
You're afraid your daughters are watching, aren't you?
You should say my mom and dad's couch because that's what
Oh,
it was.
oh yeah, it should.
That came out all wrong.
Story's changing already, isn't it, folks? And Annette, what were you doing?
I was working at the time, so I got an associate's degree and then started working at a local grain elevator in Newark, Illinois. So
Okay.
and was there for let's see, how many years? Well, it was a total of about 22, 23 years that I worked, but at one point then CHS acquired the elevator and ended up working for them, so in their main office.
Gotcha.
But,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, tell me about getting back into the farm. How did that come about?
Well, I got pregnant with Dylan, and Alex said that he wanted to farm, and like he had said, the previous custom farmer, he had retired, so kind of the timing just all worked out. So I said, well, I'm working, I've got the benefits, so you might as well jump in. I mean, when it comes to starting farming, you either jump in on with both feet or you don't do it at all.
Well, Alex, did you just happen to have a full line of equipment just sitting around?
We wish.
No. Fortunately, I had a college roommate who was, or not college roommate, but he was just a friend of mine. And he had some equipment. We borrowed some money and bought some equipment, and we traded back and forth, which was help on labor. And then eventually, probably after about 10 years of that, we were both large enough and on our feet that we parted our ways, and we're still great friends today doing that. But it took a lot of time, patience, and money, but we finally did build up a full line of really well-used equipment.
I started that way too. A lot of tough stuff. It got the job done.
Yeah.
But man, it made you work for it. Was
Yes.
there a lot of repairs?
Yes,
Still.
I got to learning, well, back to ag mechanics class going, oh, that's what he was talking about.
Maybe you should have paid attention.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I had other
Throwing
things on my mind. Right, you're right. So,
Okay.
well, stable home, good roof, things like that.
That helps, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it does.
Yeah. And what are you growing?
We now grow corn and soybeans, but when we first jumped in, we did grow peas and lima beans and sweet corn for Del Monte, and we'd have a little wheat every once in a while. So that helped spread out the workload because the Del Monte crops they would harvest, so that wouldn't be hours on the combine. And the wheat we do in July, which would 80 acres of wheat would always take us a week because, something would burn up on the combine.
Yeah, like the combine.
Yeah.
Right. And then you got that fixed, but usually then you had all the bugs worked out of it. So when the end of September rolled around, you could dive into the beans or something. But
I always thought like July when the wheat is being cut, that's when the farmers are all supposed to go to their lake house.
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, we're still working on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we get enough rain, though,
You'll have a
We
we will have our lake
Lake.
house. Yes.
Just have a wheat field under it.
Is farming your only gig or you do something else?
I am a custodian at the high school that I attended and graduated in 1987. That way no one has to ask my age. You can figure it out.
Do they have the pictures of are you up there as like the past class, the alumni?
Yeah, they did at one time have pictures of every class.
You took them down when you got there?
It's funny you mention that because, believe it or not, they're remodeling the lobby of our gymnasium as we speak.
Yeah.
And those pictures I just took down.
Ah.
So they're going to digitize them and put them in screens so you can look them up, because they're growing. Because actually the school I graduated from, they had a class from the late 1800s and pictures all the way up till, well, last year. So there's quite a catalog.
There's
there.
only so much room you can put up pictures, yeah. And they're
Right.
always in those big frames, right? Is that
They
what
are.
they're, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, in 1987, it was still black and white picture. So
In 87?
in 87, yeah.
Yeah, but
Which
how
is
big
good.
was the hair? Like you remember they used to do that with their, I don't know what the, did you have that back in the
No,
day?
I didn't.
You didn't have the
No.
I had hair,
bangs?
but it wasn't big.
Oh, you're, yeah, what is this?
You go ahead, baby.
No,
Yeah,
you tell the story.
story. No, you're better at it than I am.
Oh, go ahead.
I'll add to it. I was talking a lot about work there. So.
All right, our family always has some, I should say it's my husband. He's big on practical jokes.
What?
Yeah.
Ah,
So, well, I'm not sure how it originated, so you actually have to start with how we ended up with the clip anyways.
All right, so I was thinking of a practical joke. So
with this.
We had this old set of jumper cables that
Did you throw out your
No.
wife's hair?
You gotta, wasn't it because
Yeah,
the
you're telling the
4440?
story wrong.
What,
Oh, that's right.
because it was Ricky's, right?
That's right. So this kid that works for us, I'll call him a kid because he's like 20, and he's a good kid, a hard worker, and but I don't want to say too much about him because he'll smile when he sees this. But
Nobody sees this.
He'll want to raise.
There's no way we're putting this on air.
well, good. Then I'll say what I wish about him. But no, we had 4440. It was giving us grief. It just wouldn't start.
It's a great tractor, but
It
anyway.
is a great.
yeah.
We still have it. Don't get me wrong. It didn't go down the road, only because we can't afford anything else. So, and that being our newest tractor, no.
No.
I'm kidding. It wouldn't start for the life of me. We couldn't figure out why. Something was every night draining the batteries down, and I couldn't figure it out because, and it got frustrating because it's so simple. It's such a simple system.
Yeah.
But ag mechanics, I guess that's where I didn't pay attention to. I had other things on in mind, as we mentioned earlier. But so I said, grab a pair of jumper cables, couldn't find ours, so we grabbed his.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just some run-of-the-mill jumper cables. I won't say
Was it this one?
Yeah,
These are pretty beat up.
yeah, they are. So
Okay.
we go down there with the truck we call the man purse.
Which that's another story.
Yeah, that's
Call
another
your truck
story
a
we'll get
man
into.
purse.
Well, we'll digress and we'll come back to the jumper cables.
No,
Nope.
finish the jumper
Whatever
cables.
you want to do. All right, so
Hey, I don't know what's going on.
we, that's perfect. That makes
Yeah.
you in charge then.
I didn't say it
You
was
fit right in.
unusual. All right, so jumper cables.
So we put the jumper cables on the tractor just to try to get it to turn over or click or something.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden Ricky goes, he points. The wires are just melting off of the jumper cables.
I don't think that's good.
No, it was
Yeah.
not good. So it melted so bad that the wire just fell to the ground and there was this clip hanging on the battery. And I go, I don't think it's the batteries. And he goes, yeah, I'd agree, but it ended up being, I think, a solenoid on the starter or something. That
Oh, you
wouldn't-
tap those with a sledgehammer.
Well, we tried that too.
Yeah.
We tried to follow the diagram on the starter that says don't do this to get it to start, and that didn't work. But make a long story short, so there's this clip. So I kept it as a memento. We have
This.
there it is.
Yeah.
And I started fastening it to certain people, certain places.
What?
Like on the hood of your.
No, that's
Cart.
not what he said.
I know.
He said you started fastening this to people.
Okay, so Ricky was greasing the combine one day, and he had a sweatshirt on, and the hood's hanging there, so I gently went up behind him. He's pumping away, and clip
Okay.
it on his sweatshirt, and after about 2 minutes, he's like, what is this? What's going on? And everyone's laughing.
Except for Jimmy.
Yeah.
Ricky.
Ricky.
Well,
Well, Jimmy
and
isn't
Jimmy
either.
probably wasn't laughing either.
No.
Yeah.
He wasn't even there. But
Have
when
you
we told-
ever like put it on, like parts that
Not
shouldn't
fingers or
be?
ears, no.
Actually, I wasn't thinking that, but okay, so never on people.
No.
Right. But on their clothing, I
Okay,
guess you could say.
that's what you do on your farm.
So, well, then it went on to, a little joke of who was going to get clipped next and stuff like that. So,
Is it like a thing of a badge of honor now to get
Correct.
clipped?
yeah, well, the thing is the end all of everything. My husband got me rather well. I run the combine, so we were opening up a field, and I went to swing the auger out, and sure enough, there it is, just hanging from the the end of the auger.
That's actually not bad because a lot of people put that stick down so they know where the corn's going to hit. So maybe he was trying to help.
So there was no way I was going to get that thing off without help to move it to somebody else.
Because one of the rules is if you get clipped, then you need to do the next. You're in charge.
Oh,
like
it's a
tag.
traveling.
Yeah.
It's traveling, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been in several different places.
So I have to clip somebody.
There you go. Yeah.
That's it.
So yeah.
Oh, but you have to do it them unknowingly. It can't be staged.
It's my show.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Hold on. You're making it difficult, man.
Making what difficult?
There you go.
There.
All right.
He
What
didn't
the
even
hell?
exactly how it works.
Okay. I can see the joy in it now.
Got it?
Yeah. All right. Where were we? Okay, let's go to this. You talk about your employees and how they've gone on, past successes. Tell me about that.
Well, when we got, probably one thing that everybody knows about farming is you can't get help. I mean, getting people to help, because it's mostly seasonal. You sit around and look at each other in July because we don't have any wheat.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we need you every day for 14, 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
And
And if you get that type of person, all they want to do is sit in a seat. They don't want to grease or, yeah, I get
Yeah.
it. Yep.
and they'll let you know
Yeah.
when the air conditioner or radio
Yep.
doesn't work.
Yes.
But with that being said, we do a lot of farming for the FFA alumni and the FFA. We farm their farms, and our family just donates our time and equipment for
Nice.
that. And it also became a great pool to pick help from. And so what had happened was we started seeing these juniors and seniors in high school, and we'd ask them if they'd want to come out and help. And man, right after school, they'd be there on the weekends, and they very much enjoyed it. But since we've been farming for 25 plus years together like that, these kids who are now 18, many of them are very successful in the agriculture industry themselves, so it makes Annette and I very proud to see them blossoming. And they're actually, I guess if we had to compare it in financial numbers, they're actually doing better than we are. One of them owns their own trucking company, and they farm 3,000 acres with their
Oh,
family.
wow. Which is big.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. And he is a kid who is always trying to reinvent the wheel, and he's done it. He's like, oh, if I could just get this, then this would work. And if the trucks aren't hauling grain for local farmers or the local elevator, that truck's hauling gravel for construction sites. And he has it figured out, and very happy there because he didn't even want to graduate high school.
Yeah.
And so that's a great success story. And then others, a couple of them are working for local dealerships as mechanics or managers of stores of John Deere. One guy owns his own business and does the precision planting. So does very well. And how we know a couple of these guys are doing well, and hopefully they watch this and they get this, is because they own pulling trucks.
Oh,
If
good
you own a
Lord.
pulling truck, I think that you're doing just fine.
That's throwing away money there if you're
So,
pulling
all right,
trucks.
I got my little dig in, so it's all good. But that's something that we very much enjoy. And they still come and visit us
Yeah.
and say, hey, hello, and then they're showing us their kids, so we feel like grandparents.
Yeah,
No
we
pressure,
feel
girls.
old.
But that is very rewarding to us.
Yeah.
To see that, and then we have plenty of stories that, you know, to share with them, and
I bet.
It
Like
is, and
clipping stuff onto them.
Yeah.
right. So
Annette, you guys say you have settled on a 7-acre piece of heaven.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Yeah. We live out in the middle of 240 acres, and we've accumulated a lot of animals that keep you busy, but also bring you joy, you know, and lots of exercise when you do chores in the morning. You're either chasing pigs or goats or chickens.
What all animals do you have?
We have cows, pigs, goats, chickens, ducks, geese. We've had pheasants before, guineas. Pheasants, well, we used to release
No,
them.
anything. You know what's great about farming? Not having livestock.
Yeah, yeah. I think we're getting to the point where it'll be passed on to the kids. You know, when you get to a certain age, you're just like, yeah, I don't need to be messing with frozen water buckets anymore. That's their job now.
The goats are evil, aren't they?
They're
Well,
Houdinis.
they really are curious animals, so they
Yeah.
get into everything. But they have great personalities too.
I
So
don't think they do.
you,
I think you're just saying that, so it's
no,
like,
they're very enjoyable. They are.
okay. Well, they'll eat anything, like a tin can and stuff
No,
like
they
that.
won't eat a tin can,
they'll eat the label off of a tin
Yeah.
can, but
but they won't eat the
Will
tin
they
can.
eat a thistle?
No, I have not seen where they've eaten a thistle.
we don't have any thistles in the pasture.
Yeah.
So maybe they are.
I'll go with you.
That's a good farmer right there. Doesn't
I'll
have
go
any
with strong
thistles.
maybe.
Well, what would you tell, let's say, younger people that are trying to make that decision? Hey, let's make a go of it at farming. What advice would you give them?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I do this for a living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Have a second job. The camera's on. Have a second job.
honestly, just give it a try, because there's no such thing as really failure. It's just an opportunity to grow.
Yeah,
So
don't buy a pulling truck.
That's actually really good advice.
no, buy a man purse
Yeah,
instead.
buy the man
Wait,
purse.
that's what we were going to get
Yeah,
back to.
yeah, man purse.
What is with the man purse?
I'll tell the story because I'll get it over with.
How much
Okay.
time we
It's
got
all
left?
me. So,
We get 3 minutes.
Go.
okay, long time ago, I convinced Annette that if I just had a truck that could carry the fuel, tools, air compressor, things like that to fix in the field, instead of going back home, loading everything up from the shop, putting it in the back seat of the truck, driving it up there, fixing it, it could sit right in the field. It could be right there. And so,
And it would have everything you need.
yeah, I was getting to that wording. I said it would have everything I needed on there.
Like a man purse.
So about the second break after we bought
Yep.
this, we bought this big F550 with a flatbed,
Oh, wow.
four-wheel drive,
Okay.
air conditioning. I mean, it was a workhorse truck. Just needed floor mats and a vinyl seat, nothing fancy. About the second breakdown of the fall, where we had to, lift open the side of the combine, take a good look. I started looking up there and I go, I'm gonna have to run to town because I need to get that. And I heard, oh, I thought you said the man purse would have everything you need.
It's a good point. It is a good
And,
point.
It's
yeah.
just,
Did you-
logics.
Did you
In
know
my-
every guest of this show gets a Thunder Creek fuel trailer? It might be this big.
Yeah.
right, there you go. So, yeah, that's another thing to tell people who are just starting out. Be very careful of your wording. I excluded the word most, everything. I should have had most in there, but
Yeah. What's the address of your guys' TikTok account?
We don't have a TikTok account.
Shocker. Are you on social media at all?
Not really.
Yeah.
We left that up to our kids.
Leave that up to the girls, huh?
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
yeah, they can put that on. there.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed talking to you. I'm not sure what happened with this interview, but I had fun. I love talking to people in agriculture. I love farmers, and I love people that have a passion for what you do. And you two, you wouldn't be where you're at if you didn't have a passion to get into agriculture and work hard and stay there. So I want to
you.
thank you guys for coming and talking with us today.
Thank you
You're
for
good
having
for the
us.
show. You're good for agriculture. So
Thanks.
keep it up. And you guys have raised two amazing daughters. So Annette and Alex Marshall, guys, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Everybody else, we'll catch you next time.